For our first ever cruise on Explora journeys, we embark in Barcelona on Explora 1 for a cruise to Venice. But first we have a day in Barcelona staying at the Radisson Blu 1882 Hotel Sagrada Familia. 1882 is the year construction began on Sagrada Familia, and the hotel's decor reflects Gaudi's building. From the large roof terrace there are views of Sagrada Familia, still under construction, and that's where we will be going tomorrow. We have timed entry tickets, so in the morning we walk the short distance to the Basilica. Whatever you might think of the exterior, the interior is a stunning creation of light. The recent addition of the cross on the top of the Tower of Jesus Christ makes Sagrada Familia the tallest church in Europe. Next, we took the metro to see another of Gaudi's famous buildings, the Casa Mila, also known as La Pedrera. It was built between 1905 and 1910 as an apartment building in which the owners would occupy the main floor. Their apartment has been restored to its original appearance. The loft space includes many catenary arches supporting the roof. The roof has been described as the Garden of Warriors due to the fantastical shapes of the chimneys and vents. Our next port is Naples, but we have a sea day before that. And this is us passing southern France. And next morning passing Ischia on our way into the Bay of Naples. We have booked a private tour through Get Your Guide to Pozzuoli, and our first stop is the Campi Flegrei. This is a volcanic caldera, and fumaroles emit hot sulphurous gas. The smell is very unpleasant. Next stop is the Flavian Amphitheatre. This was built in the late 1st century AD, about the same time as the Roman Colosseum. The Gulf of Pozzuoli. This area was a favourite resort of the Roman emperors and other wealthy Romans. And there in the distance is Vesuvius. The Aragonese castle of Baiae dates from the late 15th century when this area was under Spanish control. It now is home to an archaeological museum that has finds from this area covering many centuries, going right back to before the time of Rome. The Temple of Venus in Baiae dates from the 2nd century AD. It's actually part of a much larger thermal baths complex. Our next port is Valletta, Malta, but before that we have a day at sea, sailing down the coast of Italy, past the volcanic island of Stromboli, and then through the Strait of Messina. And the next morning we are entering the grand harbour Valletta. We have booked a ship's tour of the island, and our first stop is the port of Marschschlock. We had about half an hour here, and this proved to be the best part of the trip. We passed the walled town of Medina in the distance. Our other stop was at the Dingley Cliffs, where there is the St. Mary Magdalene chapel dating from the 17th century. And of course the cliffs themselves. The next port was Syracuse in Sicily. From our balcony we had a clear view of Etna in the distance. We got a taxi to the archaeological park to see the Greek and Roman ruins. This is the Roman amphitheatre, which was largely carved out of the living rock. The Greek theatre, which unfortunately we couldn't see much of because it was being covered in modern seating for a season of classical plays. In the nearby quarry, this cave is known as the Ear of Dionysius. This was an altar for sacrifices to Zeus. We walked into the new part of the city to visit the Basilica of the Madonna delle Lacrime. Built between 1966 and 1994, construction faced many engineering challenges and ended up not being as tall as was originally intended. Back on board, a good view of the island of Ortigia, where the old town of Syracuse is. Next, the island of Corfu, where we have visited many times before. So on this occasion, we decided to stay on board and enjoy the ship. Next is Kotor, Montenegro, one of the most beautiful sailings anywhere. Safely berthed alongside, we are on a ship's tour to Perast. We passed this on our sailing, and from here you get a close view of these two islands. The one on the left is a monastery, closed to visitors, on the right a church. This is an artificial island created over centuries by the local people in thanks for divine intervention in protecting their seafarers. The church is Our Lady of the Rocks and was renovated in 1722. The walls display thousands of silver votive offerings. The icon behind the altar dates from 1452. There's a small museum attached to the church. Back in Perast, after refreshment, time for a look round. This was once a very wealthy town, controlling as it did access to the Bay of Kotor and commanding a large commercial fleet of ships. Next is Brindisi in Puglia, Italy. A pleasant stroll along this splendid promenade, and there's a ferry that can take you to various points around the bay. Betty's Cafe, where we had our coffee break. These two Roman columns mark the end of the Appian Way. This building is known as the House of the Knights. Brindisi Cathedral and the Archbishop's Palace. Little of the original Norman Romanesque building remains, as it was largely destroyed in an earthquake in the 18th century. The remains of Saint Theodore, who is one of the patron saints of Brindisi. Walking back down the steps to the harbour again. Next port is Split, Croatia. P&O's Azura following us in. We got a taxi for €20 to take us in to the edge of the old town. The statue is Gregory of Nin, a 10th century Croatian bishop. We enter the old town and arrive at People's Square. The cafe on the left provided an excellent coffee stop. We continue our meander through the old town, eventually emerging onto the promenade. we managed to get another taxi back to the port to reboard Explora 1. Our disembarkation port is Venice, but not the cruise terminal as we knew it, but Fusina, which is in the industrial port. This is what the sail into Venice used to look like. And this is what it looks like now.